say about your versatility or weapons?
Well, I do think we're balanced, but I think a lot of it has to do with the pace of the game is really fast. You know, they really themselves got down before they scored a lot of baskets early in transition. They shot the ball well. There were a lot of possessions in the game, and you know, if you look at his points, but you know, he was responsible for he had 7 assists. But again, I thought when you put he and Silva in there with Coach Hart and those guys, it's a tough front line that you're dealing with. But again, I thought Grant, other than the last play, he actually told me coming off the 40, he said I should have made a pass on that last shot. And I think that when he keeps that mindset, he'll be fine.
David?
I will be fine.
Ray, how would you assess the three-point defense tonight?
I didn't.
Right here.
Yeah.
How would you assess the three-point defense?
I didn't. I thought in transition we weren't very good, and then a couple of plays on the out of bounds play we had pre-switched, and then we forgot what we were doing. And some of them were covered, some of them weren't. And but the ones that really, they all bother you, but they're going to make some of them. But the fact is, it's the ones we gave up in transition, and the ones we gave up off offensive rebounds, which weren't as many as we had been giving up. But we still weren't as good as we needed to be guarding the three-point line. They made the shots. You got to give them. They made them.
Rick, just sort of piggyback on that, you guys had 9 made threes on the night. I know you said your emphasis is always to play inside out, but do you foresee that being one of the emphasis going forward?
Well, that's always what we're going to do. And again, when you go back up, when we had to lead up to 18 or 19, is when we took some quick shots that weren't good shots. And we got too careless there in the last 5 minutes with it, just throwing the ball around, early in the clock. I mean, there comes a point in time in the game where you're not playing, you're playing with a purpose, a real purpose, understanding time and score. And we turned the ball over there, some in it that we shouldn't do. But we're an inside-out team. And it's there, whether it's with a pass into the post or whether it's driving the ball, getting it there some way, somehow.
Kyle had a pretty rough outing down in Columbia. It seemed like he had a lot better time tonight against Silva. How important was that, and is that big going into a game against Kentucky? There's a lot of length.
Well, there's no question we're better when Kyle's playing his best basketball. There's no question. When he's at his best, we're normally going to be in it with most teams that we play against always, because of what he does and the way he can affect the game. And you look at it tonight, he's 5 for 11, and probably should have scored a couple more where he got the ball knocked away from him. And but you look at the rebounds, he needs more of those. There's no doubt about it. But having him on the floor, again, we need him. He's the anchor of what we do, especially defensively.
Coach, how do you assess the way Jalen Johnson's played lately? Do you think he's going to need more minutes going forward?
I do think Jalen will continue to play because, one, he's gotten where he's a much different guy in practice, starting to understand more and more what we need from him from a mental side of it in terms of his getting ready for defense. And his whole minutes will be based on the defensive side of the ball, because I think he has understood what we want from him on the offensive side. But his whole going forward will be how well he does defensively.
Rick, can it be hard to sometimes tell when you're winning games, a lot of them fairly comfortably, at least it looks fairly comfortable? Do you think this team understands that it's still doing some things maybe defensively that could be problems down the road?
Well, I like to think that, and that's just what I said. I said, hey man, you guys know this. You can play enough basketball now to know that you can't score a basket and jog down the floor and let somebody get to the rim, or let somebody get down the floor and get a step and get a great look at the three. And in the first half, we were jogging back in transition. I thought we were celebrating, which that's not who we are, to be honest with you. And we addressed that at halftime, and the fact that, hey, you got to play. And it goes back to, again, understanding that there's a lot of basketball left to play and that we can get better. And but you can never jog in this game, especially after you score.
Brandon, Steve?
Rick, it's been a while since you guys played a ranked team. Do you think you guys will handle it well going into Saturday? Do you think being the #1 team for so long helps that?
Yeah, I mean, again, I won't be surprised if we don't handle anything right now and play well. But I've been in this game a long time, and I've seen a lot of different things happen in basketball. I mean, you saw some of it last night. And you got to play. You got to play for 40 minutes, and I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're playing. And you got to have a mindset to do that. If you don't, good things won't happen for you.
Your
three-point defense obviously struggled, but from inside the arc, I think that y'all are well over 50% there in the 30s. Just how do you feel overall about aside from the three-point defense? The rest of the game?
Again, at the start of the game, when we got back in our defense and locked in and they were running their sets, I thought we defended fairly well. But it's still transition. I mean, I don't know how many transition points they got, but they got, again, I don't know how you come up with transition basket. It seems like you got a whole lot more than 8. Because to me, a transition basket is they get out, make a one-pass three, one pass and shoot a three. I mean, that's what they do. I mean, if they're looking to do that, that's where they're different this year than they have been in the past. They are looking to score quick. But when we got our defense set, you know, we were okay. Because we didn't get it set enough. And first half, I think we had only given up 1 offensive rebound, which was a team rebound. But the last 4.5, 5 minutes of the first half, I think they came up with 4 more of them. And that's where, again, we just got to continue to focus on the things we have to get better.
Coach, looking at this Saturday, do you think that Kentucky's loss last night, just the mindset of your team going into that, do you think that it changes anything going into Lexington?
I don't know how I can answer that for you, other than I think that we all realize that every game is important, all of us at this time of year. And I've said before, I think that most coaches or all coaches are concerned about one thing: their team, regardless of what the rankings might be or any of that. I think we're all concerned about seeing how well we can play. Can we get our teams better? And I do think that at some point in time in our game, going back to their last game, that we're going to have to put some kind of rule in to help referees at the end of the game for those critical plays, because the only way they could have got that call right is they would have had somebody sitting on top of the basket. And but I think that again, and I think we'll do some of that stuff to help our game. But still, this time of year, I mean, there's a lot of basketball left to play. There's a lot, and I'm like right now. I mean, I know we got Kentucky next, but I also know that we have to start out with what did we not do well tonight, and what do we have to do to try to fix that before we can even talk about Kentucky.
Wesley, time for one more, forgot it.
Rick, I know that obviously a lot of coaches by nature are kind of getting anxious going into big games or just any game and think about things that could go wrong and how to answer that. But when you've got a team going into a game that you know they're going to be able to handle things mentally, that you don't have to worry about that part of it, how much comfort does that give you as a coach?
Well, I will tell you, I'm concerned about every game. I think I play every game in my head before we play it, thinking about all the different scenarios that could happen with fouls, this, whatever may happen. I mean, you think about all that stuff because you want to. And I have a great staff that does the same thing. But you know, I like to think if everything goes in and we can play the way we're capable of, we should be able to handle a lot. But there's no doubt that Kentucky feels that same way. I mean, they're still, regardless of what you say, they're a top 5 team, and I think LSU's a top 10 5 team. I mean, you think about it, they've had a great year. They've been able to kind of stay underneath the radar a little bit, but you watched them, they haven't lost an SEC game. So it wasn't like they lost a game last night to somebody who can't play. They lost to a team that arguably they're in a position to win this league as much as anybody. And but again, I know John well enough to know that his thoughts are on what he's got to do to get his team better from that game, and we'll do the same thing, and we'll play, and then we still have how many games after that that we're going to have to deal with. So it's the next one on the schedule, and we've got to be prepared to do what we've done and what we've always done with our preparation.
Rick, Jordan Bowen seemed to be grimacing for quite some time after that tough ball. Is there any update on his status?
No, I think he's fine. We asked him if he was fine. He said he was fine, so I assume he is.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.